In this upcoming session, we will discuss how parametric insurance is filling the gaps left by traditional insurance. Although parametric solutions have been widely available since the late 1990s, they have found their way into corporate insurance very recently. Parametric insurance solutions offer a means to guarantee direct payout after a qualifying event and protect against unpredictable but potentially devastating risks in ways traditional insurance packages cannot. These insurance solutions may offer alternatives to funding loss that are not possible with traditional insurance products that indemnify for an actual loss sustained. As more and more digital insurance providers are venturing into the parametric insurance space, could it be that we are staring at the new dawn of insurance products which are flexible and feasible for those looking at tailor-made insurance bouquets? This session is moderated by Mr. Abhishek Poddar, co-founder and CEO, Plum. Mr. Yogesh Agarwal, co-founder and Chief Executive Officer, Onsurity, and Mr. Suvendu Prusty, co-founder, director and principal officer, Riskcovry. So over to you, Suvendu.
So it's a great topic of innovation in insurance and how we can build the biggest problem in the insurance in India, which is building penetration, enhancing penetration in the Indian market. So when we are discussing this topic, maybe the first phase, we would like to set the context between three of us. So let me go first, and then I would request Abhishek and Yogesh to add to that. And when we are discussing innovation in insurance, I have two fantastic innovators in insurance space, insurtech organizations, Onsurity and Plum, joined with me. My organization is Riskcovry, I represent. So to set some context around this product, insurance is built on a principles of indemnity. So principles of indemnity means you bring back the insured, the policy holder at the time of loss, bring him back to the original state without any profit, without any loss. However, while the major asset or the situation that we have covered under the policy, the insurance company may be filling it back or replacing the financial loss, but there are so many associated losses that happens or incurs by the policyholder. So sometimes those things cause a bigger problem to the insured or the policyholder. A lot of times we also face situations like there are events that does not cause any damage to the policyholder or policyholder's property, but that impacts the operations, business, or financial income of the policyholder. However, the traditional insurances have not covered them. So the parametric insurance is definitely a method of covering a lot of other things, not linked to the actual loss, but linked to the event that has happened. For example, if there is a flood situation in any particular area or city, what the traditional insurance covers, if due to the flood, it causes any damage to anyone's property or anyone's health, so then that pays those respective policies. However, if let's assume a situation where there is no property damage, there is no health injury to the policyholder, but there is an income loss. There is like everything becomes standstill on that particular 2 days or 3 days when the flood did not recede. Everything became standstill. That created a lot of financial loss. However, that does not give any benefit to the policyholder. However, if we look at parametric as an insurance product, that can create a lot of innovative solutions where we can compensate the policyholder based on the event and magnitude of the event, not actually the loss. So this has got a lot of benefits, and this also brings a lot of relief to the insurance company as well as the insured. So that is what we are going to discuss it today and deliberate between three of us. So this, I would make this last comment. I spent enough time in the insurance company side, and right now I am part of an organization who is enabling insurance distribution. Having seen both sides, always we face an issue around the trust deficit around insurance. Everybody thinks the customer think, will the insurance company pay me? At the same time, the insurance companies are also not making money. So maybe a very few customers are claiming they are able to consume the maximum part of the premium pool, so that neither insurance companies are making money nor the customers are getting happy. So this throws a challenge to the industry and the whole ecosystem to design products where customer also can see a value around how they can see some value in buying insurance in various situations that can happen, most probable scenarios where they would get some money. And it also, the insurance company side, it will make a lot of sense that they are not replacing or compensating the entire loss, which is much higher. Then they are limiting the loss to with a fixed benefit amount of a amount, so that they are not burning their balance sheet so much. So it helps both the side through this innovative product, which is parametric insurance. So I would request now probably Yogesh to add to set this context to the audience, so to his view.
So, Suvendu, first of all, thanks for setting up the context. I guess I will just take it from where you left. So basically, in insurance, we have always seen there are like two major challenge. One is building the trust, and the second part is building the engagement. Because generally, the insured event when the policies where the policy gets triggered is coming with a very low probability from the statistical part. But this parametric insurance is helping the new age insurance companies as well as the insurance companies overall to also use this particular product or extend this product on the two forefront, which is building trust and building engagement with the customers. So I guess might be you would have seen over the last means around 3 years back, we have I was being fortunate enough to be part of the team where we developed a product where to solve the flight delay problem, which was a parametric insurance. And effectively, one of the major challenges that we always face that the traditional insurance products covers flight delay, where the flight is being delayed by more than 8 hours. As soon as as a traveler, whenever a flight start getting delayed by more than 30 to 45 minutes, everyone starts facing inconvenience because they may have some meetings or they may have to spend more money on the airport for their food and rest. So effectively, how about we create a flight delay product which starts giving a benefit to the customer as soon as getting the product, if the flight gets delayed by more than 1 hour. And that's where the parametric insurance concept had been implemented in India. I guess, in my view, was the first time where we were paying out the customer even when there was no claim that had been filed. So as soon as the 1 hour being delayed and we have checked whether this particular flight of our customer has been delayed or not on a real-time basis with a delay of almost like a 5 minute, the claim payout automatically gets triggered and the customer gets a notification, not congratulation, but yes, you have received a INR 500 rupees or a 1,000 rupees as part of your flight delay. This actually build a lot of layer of trust and a lot of layer of engagement and actually make consumer understood that insurance is all about also where insurance companies can pay the claim, because most of the Indian consumers always have a doubt if I'm purchasing this particular product, whether I will get my claim or not. And this is where the parametric insurance has started solving the problem and will start solving the problem in the future as more and more connected economy that we will get. I guess once the NDHM will get implemented, I guess that would also help us to build a lot of parametric insurance product coming from the health insurance side, where might be a hospi cash product can be paid out without a customer filing a claim. So this is where we anticipate, or as an actuary and as a guy who had worked in the insurance sector over the last 12 years, I safely see that most of the insurance product can be easily parameterized and can be implemented in the form of parametric insurance. Yeah. Over to you, Abhishek.
I think these are very important points. And if we reflect on why we really need these products, right? And I was trying to distill down into why the world needs parametric insurance, why India needs parametric insurance. I think it boils down to three reasons, right? You need parametric insurance when you cannot determine the losses. And Yogesh, the example that you were giving on the flights getting cancelled or flights getting delayed, right? It's all a notional loss, right? There is no actual loss that has happened. So how do you actually determine the loss? There is no way to determine the loss. And that's where you need a parametric insurance. That is reason number one, right? Reason number two is actually there is losses that happen, but it's hard to determine the losses. And this was your example, Suvendu, that if there is an earthquake, there is a flood in my home, right? And I actually have a loss, but it's very hard to determine that loss. Who will come and measure the cost of each item that got lost in that flood or earthquake, right? And hence you need a parametric insurance so that you can actually solve the claims problem. And the third is maybe there's a way to determine the loss, but it's just costly to determine the amount of the loss that has happened, right? So think of agriculture loss that may happen due to heavy rainfall, right? These are now maybe losses of 500,000 rupees each for every farmer. But for an insurance company to go and determine the loss of each claim will be more costly than the actual amount of each claim. And hence it's maybe better to actually set up a parametric insurance rather than a standard indemnity-based insurance, right? So I think it boils down to those three reasons, which is you cannot determine the loss, or it's hard to determine, or it's just costly to determine. And hence what these insurance products can do is it can help insurance companies and insurtech companies to build really small, what we call as micro insurance products, in a way that we minimize the cost of servicing the claims, right? And this is important because in India, we have, I think, two reasons. One is in India, we have a very large population, which is in the low income communities who live on the edge, where just a tiny misfortune, a tiny disaster, right? Be it an injury, be it a natural calamity, it can push that population, those people into poverty, right? These events often have really grave financial consequences. Many people actually get drawn into debt traps as they, if this situation happens, they have to start borrowing, they have to start selling their assets, be it farm, etc. They have to get their children out of school and put them into work. They have to, or compromise on food or health, right? So it really has some of these financial and health outcomes that is not intended. And hence these micro insurance products can really save these families from such financial and health disasters. So I think that is one outcome of that. And the second outcome is even for people like us, right, who are privileged, that we are not living on the edge, but even for people like us, there are a lot of situations where your traditional insurance products will not fill the gaps, right? And the flight cancellation, etc., were the good examples of that, right? And hence we need these add-on covers that can fill those gaps that exist because of the traditional covers.
I think great, Abhishek, great point. In fact, that was the point which I was trying to take our discussion into, how we can use the concept of parametric insurance to build micro insurance product, so that it, like you rightly mentioned, so our consumer of those products then suddenly becomes whole large set, not only the urban poor, rather we can go to the extended India, which is Bharat, and that is where we can really build the whole insurance penetration. And insurtechs like all of us are enabling that whole ecosystem, providing the digital means of reaching out anywhere. So insurance is no way behind any payment or finance system. We are equally empowering the whole insurance system to go anywhere and to do transactions in seconds. So not only the UPI happens, nowadays the policy issuance also happens in seconds. So that is something, a great improvement. So thanks to organizations like all of us. So Yogesh, I would like to your view in terms of what are the, like Abhishek gave a great example around health insurance, and you talked about the flight cancellation. So which are the other areas you think we can build micro insurance products considering the Indian population and the opportunity?
When we talk about micro insurance, Suvendu, there are, in fact, a micro insurance product would be broadly classified into two sectors, means where we are solving for kind of a rural class or a social security class. And secondly, where the micro insurance product would be a sachet based product. I will focus more towards how we exactly can build for the rural and the social sector, and especially what we say as the India bottom of the pyramid or India missing middle, where the micro insurance products can be designed, implemented in a more suitable format. Uh, just will take a step back and will first of all will tell when we design insurance products what are the most important consideration that we generally do is what would be my cost of distribution of the product, what is my cost of claim processing, and then what is my loss cost, and all put together determines the premium, and then that premium needs to be affordable in that particular market. And for a micro insurance product, as you have mentioned, one major challenge is the cost of distribution and cost of servicing. And because the cost of distribution and cost of servicing become so high that then the loss ratio, then the expected loss ratio we target somewhere at around 30 to 40%, where the premium does not make a lot of sense. So this is where the parametric or the technology-based insurance products can really solve the issue of the protection gap when we talk about the technology-led parametric insurance. So, for example, for a village who is being funded by a microfinance institution or MFI, one of the couple of major risks can be brought into the parametric insurances. For example, one of the major line of the product under the micro insurance product, what we always see is a death cover. Can we make the death cover as a parametric insurance where the customer may not have to file a claim, but based on his unique identifier and a database which records the customer identity and the database which records the customer event of a mortality, we eventually pay out the claim. And one of the major challenge as an insurer, we have always seen that customer do not file a claim, especially on the life insurance side where the family is not aware the product is there for the customer. So this particular example can also help us to solve one of the major problem of the mortality risk. Apart from that, there are other use cases which is related to earthquake and natural disaster, where the customer or where the insurance company even do not have to go onto the field for at the time of event that's happening and just start paying off the claim depending on the size of the event that had happened. Or for example, if the earthquake had strike on a particular location or a particular city, depending on what was the exposure on the geographical limits, the claim payout can happen. And these, because if the claim payouts or the claim servicing can happen more real time, there's a huge cost saving that can happen on the manual side. The only thing we need to spend or build intellectual capital on the technology side to have those technology built in, which again can be built in using different technological advancement that we are having it. So that is where my thoughts are when it comes to the rural sector, where the insurance company always face difficulty to reach, and especially at the time of natural disaster. These parametric insurances and the micro insurance product can prove a lot of value. And so that is one thing, one part. And the second part about the sachet insurances, which is also termed as a micro insurance products, these can only be, in my opinion, as a product actually, can only be a parametric insurances only, because for example, if we have to pay a claim of 2,000 rupees, my cost of servicing of a claim will become a 3,500 rupees. Is it economical to pay that particular claim? No, if it requires a manual effort. But what if the rails are being connected and the workflows, technological workflows has been connected, and all these can be processed more based on the rule engine. So that is where my thoughts arises around how we can actually grow the micro insurance segment using parametric insurance formats.
No, great points. I think the ideas that you shared for especially addressing the bottom of the pyramid is really it's a very innovative for like we've been discussing that is the segment which is currently underinsured, and like Abhishek was mentioning, there is a big impact to them, their lives, their family in case of any adverse situation, and they do not think a priority to spend money towards insurance. And so in such situation, parametric insurance with lower premium and paying them without and making it much more affordable, not only for consumer, for the insurance companies as well, so that they are not spending enough money in processing the claim, rather it is automated using technology, using certain event, and not the actual assessing the loss of that individual. That's a great thought. So
Actually, one of the questions, Suvendu, sorry to interrupt, one of the questions that we also need to think about, right, is the opportunities exist, but is India ready from a data perspective?
I think I was just coming to
us
that
to build
point.
these kind of products? We have a lot of, and I am sure Yogesh is an expert in this. We have so many ideas on what to build, but one of the things that I keep going back to is that, I mean, if you look at a market like US, right, where you have a real-time data of temperature and rains and earthquakes in every zip code of US, right? And hence you can actually build these products very quickly. You don't have to build the data layer, but is India ready from that data layer perspective, from reliable and real-time data layer perspective, for us to go and then start innovating on underwriting or product distribution?
Yeah, so Yogesh, I mean, you will be the best person to answer that. So what are the, one is the data really available? And second is, what is the help or the support that we need from government India, while they've taken a lot of measures towards Indian insurance penetration increase and giving that as a most optimum protection to the citizens of India from financial loss and for everything else. So what do you think is the support required from the government?
Abhishek, a very important part, how much data that is available, and most important part, how much credible the data is. So I will just bring an example that in India, we are having like a 20,000 crore book of crop insurance, and almost around 50% to 55% of that crop insurance book is being underwritten using the parametric insurance format. And that is where the government had also installed weather stations across different villages and different districts put together, which had enabled to actually launch one of the largest globally crop-based insurance formats. So on a lot of aspects, data is getting built up. And again, most of the insurance products, when we design it around, we also see what are the data available. So for example, the flight delay problem statement, the data was always there. There are companies which were capturing the data with regards to the flight delay, and those data were available. And again, it had brought into the real life example of the implementation part. Similarly, for the earthquake part, again, when everyone had seen us in the news that in the Richter scale, the earthquake intensity is being measured, and it's again kind of a real time. So, and even the rainfall index or the rainfall, how much the rainfall had been received in a particular geocode is again available. So from the lot of products, I would say, which can be easily designed, implemented, and where the data availability is still there, and which can again take us the insurance sector to the next level of building the trust and engagement. Because the way how our traditional life insurance products had been sold or missold had created a lot of trust factor issues in the user segment. And at Onsurity also, we are trying to now build a couple of parametric insurance formats, which will help our SME customers to, in order when it comes to their claim processing. Unlike traditional products where they have to file a claim, how exactly we can help them to not to file a claim, but to get a payment instantly. So that can also be brought. But as Abhishek had mentioned, yes, there are like data challenge or data source challenge. But I would say that there are a lot of other data points that are available, which can help any product actuary or a designer to come up with the right product structure, as well as the right technological sets to get those particular product implemented.
Yeah, I think that's very fair, and I think it's quite heartening to know that as a country, we have progressed in terms of capturing the data and maintaining that and predicting some of the weather forecasts like the advanced countries. So we are progressing well in those aspects. So in terms of government support, so what do you think government, so is this data available?
Yes, well, I guess there was some
Yeah,
disturbance.
some disturbance. Sorry, I'll repeat the question. I'm saying, do you think this data is readily available publicly to everyone, or especially the actuarial and product team like yours, or it has to be some permission required? So how easily those data is accessible?
Oh, wow. So when some of these data points are available publicly, or you can actually purchase the data using the external agencies. So for example, for as far as I remember clearly, we procure data from SkyMet when it comes to weather data.
Yeah.
And then there are companies on the flight radar. I guess there's a company called Flight Radar, which gives the flight delay data. Then
Yes.
there are companies which actually, and in fact, the couple of insurer and reinsurers have also tied up for the earthquake and flood modeling. And these companies also model the real-time scores of how these risks are moving. So there are data that are available. Most likely they are available on a commercial basis in order to get more cleaner data. But yes, availability of the data, I would say, in most of the situations are there on a commercial basis.
So I think that's another point that you brought in about reinsurers playing a big role in this whole parametric insurance. Till now, even our experience is that local underwriters or insurers, while they're offering these products, and primarily the products are driven by the reinsurance actuarial team and pricing team based on their global experience on particular event or catastrophe that they have. And that is, I think, the pricing model, including the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, which is very popular in all states, has been adopted. And you mentioned also that most of it is on the basis of parametrics. So they are also completely, I think, backed by the reinsurers, international reinsurers, and most of these premiums are also ceded to them. So this is what our experience is also, that whenever we are discussing parametric product, so we are getting more solutions from reinsurer than the insurers, and the reinsurers are playing active role in understanding the market, understanding players like us to see what kind of products they can design and then create it. So that is something, a welcome movement in our ecosystem, that the reinsurers are openly talking to us and they have shown keen interest to build product along with us. So that will help us to build these innovative layers of product, and so we don't need to be really get limited to the current roadmap of any insurance company. We can design as a outside of insurance company ecosystem also, we can design products with the help of reinsurers and go to an insurer to back us. So that idea also becomes helpful. So Abhishek, if you have any idea about these things, maybe please share.
Yeah, I think, see, the way to think about reinsurance is, see, where do you need reinsurance? You need reinsurance when the probability of a certain risk is very low, and the amount of that risk is very high, right? If it's a high probability, low risk event, then the insurance companies can typically cover that on their own books, compared to vice versa, right? So if you think of earthquakes, which is maybe once in a 10-year kind of event, but if the earthquake happens, if one city has 100,000 people, all 100,000 people will go and claim for that earthquake, assuming they all had this earthquake insurance, right?
Yeah.
Those are the situations where you need to build a product with a reinsurance company, because reinsurance companies, what is reinsurance? The reinsurance companies are insuring the insurance company, right? That is the core of,
yes.
That is the reason reinsurance as a word came. So it depends on the kind of product that you're building, right? So if you're building a flight cancelled product or a flight delay product, you probably don't need reinsurance support because they happen very frequently and the amount of loss per flight delay will be very small, and hence you can typically work with an insurance company versus an earthquake product, which is one single loss, one single event will be very huge, but once in a 10-year event. So I would say, think about what product you are building and what is that probability versus size of event, and that will give you an idea of who you need to work with.
True. I think very truly said. The cumulative impact, if it is more than the capacity of observing in the balance sheet of the insurer, that is when they need to take reinsurance cover to protect their balance sheet. And yeah, so basically some of the parametric products also, the way it has been evolving is, yeah, there are different situations, maybe flight cancellation may not require, but I think most popular adoption of parametric has been more as a catastrophic events, whether maybe in other markets, the volcanoes or tornadoes are very common phenomena.
Correct.
And some of the our nearby friend countries are more popular on the earthquakes and tsunamis. So maybe those kind of catastrophic events make a lot of sense to have a reinsurance backed solution. So that's why probably in our Indian government also taken the weather and the fasal, the crop insurance is backed by reinsurance things. So because these are cumulative impacts, and one rainfall or one flood situation that can impact multiple districts in a state, and so the outgoes become much more higher, and magnitude is very high, the loss amount, so which the insurance company's balance sheet may not be able to withstand. So that's why they need to be reinsurance protected. I think we kind of had covered most of the aspects of this. So probably we come to end of this discussion. So I would request each of you to have your closing remark. So what to think about this as a product, where it will go, and what is that everybody should expect from this? Anyone can start, please.
Yeah, I would say, I think we are at the very start of thinking about parametric insurance in India or micro insurance in India. Barely scratch the surface, and we need more and more entrepreneurs to think from the first principles of what is the customer problem that we are trying to solve. And before we started this chat, Yogesh was that when we think of insurance, right, we should just start with consumer problems that we are solving. That's the lens that we need to take. I think there is so much of real problem to be solved in the world of even parametric insurance that we just need that first principle problem solving to come up with product ideas. And then there are traditional insurance companies, traditional reinsurance companies, who you can take your ideas to get a balance sheet, to get a book for them to go and underwrite with you, for you to go and take that product.
The trust and building the engagement with the customer had always been challenging when it comes when we always have seen insurance product. Of course, this parametric insurance gives a great opportunity to insurers as well as insurtechs in order to use these products to develop trust and engagement across the customer through a great customer experience, because this particular platform or this products gives really an opportunity to build trust and engagement. So this is where what we would means in my understanding that would be real use of parametric, and at the same time it would also be able to help us to build capacity for a lot of natural catastrophe events where these products can be attached or can be sold to the real customers, where it can really impact all those events can really impact those customers. And from the risk angle, what we can even also say that this particular parametric insurance products can also create a pathway of securitization of insurance risk. So for example, if we are having a kitty of a parametric risk, then it gives an easy chance to securitize that particular risk into a particular cohort, and then we'll be able to, for an insurance sector overall, to build a larger capacity, because if securitization is possible, then that means we may not have to only depend on the insurance company and reinsurance company balance sheet, for the capital requirement or for the risk-based capital. So this is where the parametric insurance layout can happen over the next 3 to 5 years.
I think great points, Yogesh and Abhishek. I think while the topic was parametric insurance filling the gaps left by traditional, but I guess where we are concluding is parametric insurance supplements the traditional insurance. Because if you have parametric insurance, it pays in addition to whatever you get from your traditional insurance. It's not that you get this or that, you get both. So it makes a lot of sense to design and come up with those products. So from insurer perspective, it makes a lot of sense. Like Yogesh mentioned, it is the technology, it is the low cost of assessment. So that is where it makes sense for the insurers. It's low severity and low cost of processing. For customer, it makes a lot of sense that it pays in addition to the other traditional policies. It pays without much hassles around the claims and submission of documents. And if technology is the enabler for understanding the magnitude of the event and for processing this loss, so then InsurTechs, there are enough of InsurTech ecosystem in India who has built the whole technology layer that can connect to the insurance company, to the whole ecosystem where we can gather the data and give the processing of the claim to the customer. So the entire pipes are already built. So that is also made simpler for whole thing. I think the whole ecosystem is ready for a segment like this. And if we create more and more products around it, a situation like a pandemic, which happened, or rather we are going through since last 2 years, many of the citizens did not have an insurance there to incur their own expenses. So that probably we could have reduced the impact to the citizen by having such products for facing any such, whether a catastrophic event or a pandemic situation. So it becomes no-brainer, and for execution perspective, the whole ecosystem is ready. So we definitely look forward this as the one of the driver for increasing the insurance penetration in India, and this makes a lot of sense and win-win use case for consumer, distributor, as well as the insurer. So thank you all, Yogesh and Abhishek, for the wonderful inputs. It was lovely interacting with all of you. And thank you everyone for listening to us. Hope whatever we discuss makes sense to all of you. And so it was pleasure for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Suvendu, for coordinating this particular event, and thanks for all the viewers for listening us. And yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
नेट में अकाउंट सेटअप और ट्रेडिंग शुरू।
हाँ कर सकते हैं।
नहीं कर सकते।
लगी शर्त और हारा तो It's possible with CoinSwitch Kuber. Download करो और Bitcoin trading start करो. CoinSwitch Kuber. सिक्का चमकेगा.
Cryptocurrency is an unregulated digital asset, not a legal tender and subject to market risks and price fluctuation risks.
Where there is life, there is hope, there is meaning. But life has its downs as much as its ups. Life is about challenges. Life is about opportunities. Time for joy, time for celebration, and time to introspect. Thankfully, in every one of life's moments, and even beyond life itself, there's LIC. Where there is life, there's always LIC. Zindagi ke saath bhi, zindagi ke baad bhi.
Welcome to Fego, a pioneer in the world of intelligent open finance. With our full-stack open finance platform, we enable companies to understand their users' financial behavior across various use cases, making finance engaging and actionable. Fago's developer-friendly product stack helps clients with friction-free user onboarding and authentication using trusted account information. Connect and aggregate your users' banking transaction data from any source, either any of the account aggregators or directly from any core banking solution at flexible intervals. Enrich and categorize transaction data using machine learning algorithms to extract deep behavioral attributes of your users. Understand and act on real-time insights powered by your users' behavior for a variety of use cases ranging from lending, wealth, income verification, frauds, to even branding and marketing insights. Engage with your users by embedding our personal finance management SDK in your existing user-facing app to push positive financial habits and personalize financial insights to your users. If you are looking to engage or understand your user base's financial behavior to take informed decisions, Faygo is your perfect partner. With the complete Faygo suite, you can now capture what drives your users at every stage of their journey and use it to drive your growth. Plug into Faygo and let us do the heavy lifting for you.